Todd, we're doing a lot of trash talking today.
I like it. Actually, today is a great one because this is all about nonprofits.
Yes, it is.
This is two, what you would think are, very different nonprofits, but there is a connection, which we're going to bring in later on, correct?
Correct. You nailed it on the head, Todd. One man's trash is another man's treasure. We'll go into that a little bit deeper. I think all of us are very much aware that the topic related to trash is a very hot topic right now in the area. And so from an actual nonprofit side, being able to showcase efforts related to cleanups, amazing. And then on the other side, tying it back down to Reno, really highlighting a foundation that is able to showcase local artists and kind of the unique things that they've done with, in fact, trash, as well as tying that back to Burning Man with Leave No Trace, considering it's end of the month. Black Rock City is not actually being built this year, but there is still a multiverse event going on. And so I can't wait to learn all about it.
And of course, as we've talked about many times in the show, art has really shown itself to be the foundation of what's made it this entire pandemic and everything totally survivable. So great show. Can't wait to hear it. Let's get on with our first guest right away. And just so we can find out the stuff going on, put them on the spot, right away. You're going to have to unmute yourself there, Colin.
Got it. I think I'm unmuted now.
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Perfect. Thanks for having us.
So Clean Up the Lake, and you guys are a great nonprofit. You've been really focusing on trying to, originally you had a plan this year, really ambitious plan. You're going to swim around the entire coast of the United States or something like that. I don't know. It was something crazy. Obviously that got postponed to next year, but you've been doing a lot of things in between. Maybe you could tell us just a little bit of some of the things you've been doing.
Absolutely. This extra time has been, a bit of a silver lining in these weird, slightly dark times we've had with COVID. But for us, we've actually got to get out there and put some theories, into action and really learn a lot about what we're trying to accomplish. As you said, we had some crazy idea, which was going to be to do a circumnavigated scuba cleanup of the 72 miles of Lake Tahoe, which we postponed till next year. But even being out there practicing these cleanups, we've seen, how far we're actually getting over, 20 or 30 dives. We're able to average out our distance better, kind of fine tune our tactics to get heavy items up and all sorts of stuff. So we've been active on Donner Lake recently, which maybe Sadye can tell you a little bit about.
Yeah, so initially our attention was brought to Donner Lake by 12-year-old Truckee local Ella Hoyer. And she had recently visited the Donner public docks and saw that there was a huge litter problem there. And so her initial idea was to get some plaques put on the end of each docks, reminding people how easy it is to clean up after themselves. In an effort to be involved with her, we decided why not start cleaning Donner Lake. So we started a fundraiser, and initially our goal was to scuba clean up the 3 miles on the north shore of the lake along the public piers on Donner Pass Road, which we completed in about 6 days of diving. We pulled out 3,500 pounds of garbage.
It's over
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Almost 2.
We met our fundraising goals and are in process of getting the plaques put on the docks with Ella Hoyer. And because we met our fundraising goals, Colin has decided to finish the circumnavigation of Donner Lake. So we have about 3 more miles to go there, which we'll be finishing up in September. So very exciting there. And like Colin said, we learned a lot from this trial and error of working on Donner Lake, and we're really excited to bring that over to Tahoe.
And now to bring that full circle related to kind of the current environment, related to tourism and Tahoe and trash, I really want to hear your thoughts on, what you're seeing and what we are seeing, right? As a diver, a part of this program, and then kind of provide some solutions, right? Because there's a lot of contention out there, and based with an economy that is solely, significant with tourism.
Megan, I think you're right. There is a lot of contention that's out there right now about the trash issue and over tourism in Tahoe. And, on one hand, sure, they're right. Their tourists are bringing more trash, but it's not just the tourists. I think with humans itself, we come with more trash. So it's hard for us to sit and point the finger at anyone, because I think there's, we've all been responsible, even if it's accidentally at times. And so I think some people may come and set trash down next to a dumpster that's overflowing, and they think they're doing the right thing because they can't put it in the trash can, and they tried. So they'll leave it there. But then we've got bears, and then it comes back to the city or county officials or the parks officials, and what's their plan in this time? Are they emptying these trash cans frequently enough for this kind of level of tourism? And so what becomes very clear is that it's not really any specific person or group of people's fault. However, it is all of our responsibility to work together towards a solution. And that's what we are trying to work on. We've even got a meeting with an advocate in Truckee and the vice mayor of Truckee to talk about these kinds of solutions tomorrow night. And, at least for that area, but, as Lake Tahoe Basin as a whole, there's a lot of different municipalities and jurisdictions that are going to have to figure out what we can do to solve this issue.
Well, I mean, just on a personal note, I know that myself, right, with all the to-go food and the single-use packaging you have right now. I mean, I got something to eat to go, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I remember a windstorm picked it up, and boom, here I am chasing a piece of plastic for a mile down the road, and you're like, oh my gosh, so I could see where that could blow somewhere where you don't know where it went to, and that can happen, right? And just a percentage of that, obviously more single use, more people, more stuff going on. Kind of curious, in these removals you're doing, both in the place you have, what kind of trash you see? Are you seeing like older, like dated stuff that's been there for a while, or are you seeing mostly newer, like more, what do I want to say, more modern plastic and stuff like that? What are you able to tell, how long it's taken for that trash to accumulate?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it varies too. Above the surface, below the surface. Above the surface, obviously, there's a lot of trash that's a lot more new, modern, recent, coming away from those overflowing trash cans, blowing away in the wind, like you're saying, drug away by bears and other wild animals and chipmunks and everything alike. And so, yeah, above the surface, it's all quite new, I would imagine, unless you get into more remote areas where, I have been in Sugar Pine State Park and found pull tab cans out in the forest, which, I'd seen a lot of underneath the surface of Tahoe, but I hadn't seen them out in the forest. And I saw another one near Nevada Beach, and those are from like the 80s. So we're finding decades old trash every now and then in those hard to find areas on shore. However, underneath the surface, a lot of the times the trash is older, and there's sometimes we were out diving in Glenbrook about 3 days ago, and I got out a little bit further where we hadn't been recently, and started to find, cans that were at least 40 years old. And then, however, then if you're closer to shore, you might see stuff that's blown off, the shore into the water, and it can be more recent. And so it really depends. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of trash left under the surface that is decades old. Yesterday, we pulled out a Sony CFS 210 tape playing boombox that was from 1989. So it's
I lost that on a trip out here back then, as a graduation present. So
I've got your mixtape for you then.
So at this point, what are next steps for the nonprofit, as well as how can people support you?
Absolutely. So next steps, unfortunately, lightning has caused a 2-day delay for our biggest next step, which is going to be a 6-mile scuba cleanup of the Nevada shoreline of Lake Tahoe. And we're working with Nevada Division of State Lands on the license plate grant, as well as a sub-grant from Nevada Department of Environmental Protection and the United States Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA. And so we will have 21-person teams out there with 7 to 8 different boats or vessels on the water, moving from Nevada Beach to Zephyr Cove, to Secret Beach to 3 miles of Incline Village's shoreline. So we've got a big thing there. Then, of course, as Sadye said, finishing Donner next month and getting ready for the big 72-mile scuba cleanup next year. But as far as ways people can help, go over to cleanupthelake.org. We have a big old donate button there. We definitely need, that financial support. On our website, there's also ways that, volunteers can sign up if they're interested. And we've been lucky to have an overwhelming amount of support offered from people as volunteers. And, want anyone out there to know that we're getting back to you, we're managing it, and we do appreciate everyone that, offers to help in every way that they can.
Amazing. So now our next guest has actually taken trash and turned it into an art exhibit, I believe. Is that right? Am I right, Megan?
I mean, on that level, yes. I would be curious to know if Maria has actually created some art pieces herself related to garbage, or if she, as a curator for the Sierra Arts Foundation, has really kind of collected that as the exhibition on display. So I'll let you kind of take that away, Maria, really quickly.
Sure. I'm actually a painter, but I taught drawing and painting at Chuck Meadows Community College for many years. But I have many hats as far as nonprofit art organizations in Reno. I'm also the executive director for Art Tech, and we stage a lot of Burning Man projects, and so and camps and art cars and all that kind of stuff. I'm also a project manager for Burning Man, and so the exhibit that we have in the Sierra Arts Gallery right now is called Trash, Treasure, or Art, and it's by Carolyn Guerra, and she is the artist in resident at Sierra Nevada College in Incline. And what she does is she's collected things like keys or fishing lures or things like that, and then she creates a ceramic sculpture that then tells a story. So there's like an old fisherman's face, and then there's fishing lures all over him, or there's one that's called Keys, and it's a beautiful face. She's very fascinated by faces. So the trash tells the story, goes with Colin's. The trash kind of tells a story, and then it creates the narrative, and then she creates the art piece around that. And you see a lot of that also in the big Burning Man sculptures. We have a lot of big Burning Man sculptures that are made out of, metal car parts, or there's an artist that's from Elko that on 4th Street, we have a sculpture that's a rearing horse that's in front of the sands, and it's completely made out of recycled materials, and chains from bicycles actually make up the tail and the mane, and at Burning Man, participants could actually move the legs and the mane and the tail and all that. So you see a lot of big sculptures that are made out of recycled materials. So that's the trash tie-in. But the other thing that, I'm really excited to hear what Colin's doing is that one of the principles of Burning Man is leave no trace. And so that our permit is based on leaving no trace. And so we're very conscious of that. And if other festivals have actually reached out, Bonnaroo, Coachella, to try and help them with that. And, this whole sensibility of picking up the trash and for people to see the work that Colin's doing, and is like, we have to set the example, whether it's through Burning Man or whether it's cleaning up the lakes. But it's really important work. We have to take care of our planet. So that's the trash art tie-in. Sorry, go on.
Well, now Colin has his next project. That is, he needs to commission an artist to create a sculpture from all this stuff that you collect from Lake Tahoe, and that way it could be on display somewhere. So now you know what you need to do. This is just another thing you got to add to your project for next year, Colin. Do you think you can do that?
Oh, absolutely.
With Sadye's help, he can do anything. but I will say on that note, before we say goodbye to Colin and Sadye, is that missing link between the story of the items that are found under the surface. With some of the dives that we've done together, some of the pieces are are super intricate, unique, different, and you're just like, I wonder how this got here, or was it mistake, or was it done on accident, and those people and those stories associated with those items that are found. So it was a really, really unique concept. And Colin, I think you just found the next fundraising opportunity.
There you go. There you go. Well,
Exactly. No,
Colin and Sadye, we'll say goodbye to you, and then we'll finish talking to Maria, because she's got a lot to tell us about the arts at Sierra Arts and all the stuff she's got going on.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for having us, and you guys have a great rest of the show, and we appreciate it always.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Oh, I cut him off. I'm good.
But Maria, you really brought it full circle and connected all of those dots related to art, trash, Burning Man, your current exhibition. So why don't you give us a little background on how your exhibition came together, and then how it's been received?
So I curate way ahead of time. So a year ago, I put this show together, and every August we try and do a nod to Burning Man. And so this year one of the things I've done at Sierra Arts is that we used to focus on solo shows in the main gallery. We've opened up the back area that used to be a conference room, and now we call that the Annex Gallery. And then I took the wall that's along Virginia Street and turned that into a separate showing space. So the idea is that what we're trying to do is we're trying to support as many artists as possible and give them as many exhibition opportunities as possible. And so this way, instead of only showing 12 artists a year, we're throwing in some group shows, and then we have separate spaces for different artists to tell a story. And so the Burning Man story for this August, of course, was very sad. We basically decided to show David Hill, whose photos are behind me, is a documentary photographer for Burning Man. We have a whole team of documentary photographers. And then in the annex, we are featuring the work of Will Roger Peterson, who's one of the founders of Burning Man. And so Will has been taking aerial photos of Black Rock City for, the last 15 years. And he just wrote a book called Compass of the Ephemeral. And it came out actually last year. And there are essays about Burning Man, about Black Rock City. There's things about Leave No Trace. And so, I mean, originally what I had planned was for Will to do a book signing and that kind of thing. And for David Hill, we have a video that's from last year's event that's constantly streaming in the gallery. I wanted to have David come up, but we ended up having a reception for the first time since February, and that was just this past Thursday, celebrating Carolyn Guerra's work. Carolyn was there, and I was really pleasantly surprised that the community came out, masks on, but the community came out, no food or drink, and I thought nobody's going to show up without that. But people came out because they really wanted to go to an art opening. They wanted to talk to the artist. They wanted some kind of return to normal. So Carolyn was pleased. She had some really great conversations. People loved her work. Are sad that David and Will weren't there to be able to talk about Burning Man and their work. But I did the best I can. It was great. It was really great to see people out and about. And I think that once people start doing that and feeling comfortable doing that, you know, I mean, I'm missing performance. I'm missing music. Sierra Arts has an elder care series where our program director, Tia Flores, we record music in the gallery, and then it's on Facebook. And so we're continuing with our programming and shifting as much as we can. One of the main things that we're really trying to do is support local artists right now. So we started an artist fund, and you can go to sierraarts.org and donate specifically to that fund. Artists can then request money, and we send them checks. And you know, we're constantly trying to think of ways that we can support them, whether it's an exhibition. We now have a online gallery. We have a virtual gallery of each exhibit. We have a shop. We have a gallery store that's online. So we're doing everything that we can to just help support artists during this time.
and we talked a little bit before about that. I think this is one time period where I think people really started to realize just how important the arts were to them, right? You know, you take these things kind of for granted because they're kind of out there, and what, like you're talking about going to see a show or going to see an exhibition. I started thinking about how many times I actually go into museums and see exhibits a year, and it's quite often, right? And I don't really think much about it because I just go and, oh yeah, that's pretty cool, you know, and but not being able to, all of a sudden it's like, wow, you know, that, and the other aspect was, you know, I'm glad to see that you're out there supporting the artists, because when this all went down, some of the people that were first to really support society were the artists, you know, and giving back, whether creating sculptures or providing music or all the other stuff that is out there.
We actually had, I was gonna say, we actually had a quarantine show. That was one of the first shows that we had when we came back. We already had a show scheduled for May, and so then we had for June. So then we had a July show that we put a call out to artists, and it was art that was made during the quarantine.
Oh, wow.
And that was really, it was actually, we couldn't have an opening or anything, but the art that came out of it was really, really interesting, and it gave artists a motivation to create something during that time, because as a painter myself, when you're that anxious and freaked out, it's hard to write, to play music, to, you know, do anything. And so by actually just saying, just show us what you did during the quarantine, and we'll show your work in the gallery, was really great. It was really great.
So what's next for the gallery at this point, and for you and for this viewing?
Actually, we're just doing our schedule, and we like stopped. We put the brakes on, and then we slowly opened, and we were open for a limited amount of hours, 10 to 2 Monday through Friday, and 12 to 4 on Saturday. And masks are required in the gallery. We have our regular scheduling. So we have a solo show coming up in September. We have a group show coming up in November, and just, you know, really trying to just keep that month. Every month there's new art in Sierra Arts, and there is going to be a reception, even if it's just people visiting and talking with masks on. So really just trying to get back to normal.
Awesome. So now, if people want to support you, and where are you located, give people the whole round of where they go, what they see, and how they can help.
And the Artist
Sure.
Relief Fund.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
As well as the Artist Relief Fund.
Right. So the Artist Relief Fund is, everything is on sierraarts.org. And the Relief Fund is there. You can donate to the Relief Fund. You can donate to Sierra Arts. You can become a member of Sierra Arts. So if you're an artist, we have several members only shows throughout the year where we fill the gallery. We have a theme, and we had one that was equus, and so it was about horses. And so people, all members were welcome to show their work. So again, it gives these artists an opportunity to show their work in a really nice space. The next member show that we have coming up is in November, and it's a 12 by 12 show. And so artists just have to create, that's it. They just have to create art on a 12 by 12 panel. And then that also leads us into the holidays. So we have a holiday store in the Annex Gallery, and the 12 by 12s have to be for sale for $200, or I think it's $300 or less. So again, it becomes something that the artists can make money off of, and people can buy art from local artists as gifts. So, and that will, all those will be online as well. So people can, you know, if they're fearful, they can still shop local artists. And the Sierra Arts Foundation is located at 17 South Virginia Street, which is right across from the Pioneer and West Elm, the old post office. It's in the first floor of the Artists' Lofts, the old Riverside Hotel. Yep. So right across from City Plaza. You know, so yeah, come visit, and/or just check us out online. Support local art.
Love it. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Maria. We really
thank you, guys.
appreciate it. And, you know, obviously anything we can do to support the arts, we like doing that. And you guys keep on doing what you're doing, because you artists give us hope and keep us alive, without a doubt.
Yes.
And give voice to some of these really, really incredible movements right now.
Exactly.
Yes, for sure.
Thanks, Maria.
Thank you guys. Bye-bye.
It all comes full circle.
Yeah, it's amazing, how that can, two really different areas that you wouldn't think connect, but really do. So that was amazing, from cleaning up the lake and the trash and that ongoing aspect, and the fact that there's an organization out there that has viewed this problem and is now trying to address it, all the way to, the arts and supporting the art and the local artists, which is something you definitely have to do. Very important stuff.
Fantastic, Todd. Well, I think that wraps up this episode of Get Virtual. You have some shout outs?
I do. So first shout out is, hey, if you like the show, make sure you share it, make sure you like it, make sure you talk about it, tell everyone about it, take a screenshot and print it out, send it to your grandma. She's not on Facebook. She has no idea. Or maybe she is on Facebook. Maybe she's the one sharing it right now. Who knows? Also, if you want to be on the show, give us an email, Reno Tahoe at Plan My Getaway. If you're looking to sponsor a show, we're always looking for sponsors. We like keeping the show going. Reno Tahoe at Plan My Getaway as well. Just tagline sponsor or Get Virtual. Other than that, that's all I got.
Yeah. Thanks for watching Get Virtual. Be sure to support local movements, and support local issues. All right. That's it.